Welcome to Vitality VIP's Wellness Elite channel. Let's start.
Hi, I'm Dr. John. In this episode, I will talk about natural additives for coffee that will enhance its health properties, as well as its flavor and aroma. If you want to learn about what to combine with coffee to make it even healthier, it's worth watching until the end. Before we begin, I have a request. If anyone would like to contribute to the growth of our community on this channel, all you need to do is click the subscribe button below the video, and then the bell icon that appears next to it. If you find my videos helpful, I think it's worth doing, as subscribing will also ensure that you don't miss out on other valuable videos. Thank you in advance, and let's get back to the topic. First, let me briefly remind you of the benefits of regularly drinking good quality coffee. First and foremost, moderate coffee consumption, i.e. 1 to 3 times a day, has a positive effect on the circulatory system, protecting us from the development of heart failure and strokes. Interestingly, coffee also reduces the risk of arterial hypertension. It's also worth mentioning that coffee drinkers have a lower mortality rate due to cardiovascular disease, with an average reduction of almost 20%. Regarding the preventive action of coffee, I would also like to say that regularly consuming it helps prevent the development of diseases such as type 2 diabetes, gallstones, and also protects against liver steatosis, fibrosis and cirrhosis. What's more, coffee has a positive effect on mental acuity and reduces the risk of neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and dementia. Furthermore, coffee is attributed with antidepressant effects. Now, let's discuss the additives that are worth using to further enhance the health benefits of coffee. The first valuable option is coffee with cardamom. Here, I should note that I'm referring to real Malabar cardamom, for example green cardamom, not black cardamom. Cardamom is worth using in combination with coffee to emphasize the beneficial effect of this drink on carbohydrate metabolism. As I mentioned earlier, coffee itself works preventively in the context of the development of type 2 diabetes. Cardamom, on the other hand, counteracts insulin resistance. In one study, scientists noticed that consuming cardamom contributed to an increase in the sensitivity of our body's cells to the action of insulin, which resulted in a reduction of insulin resistance. Thanks to this, our body can secrete much smaller amounts of insulin, which are sufficient to lower the level of glucose in the blood. This has an additional advantage because a high level of insulin in the blood in the longer term leads to many health complications. And it is cardamom that will be helpful in avoiding them. Just like coffee, cardamom also has a positive effect on the cardiovascular system. This is mainly because this spice has a unique ability to reduce the concentration of triglycerides in the blood. In a 2020 study, we can read that the use of cardamom is associated with a reduction in triglycerides even up to 20 mg per deciliter, which means very high effectiveness. And as we know, a persistently elevated level of triglycerides in blood vessels leads to many circulatory system disorders. Although studies have clearly shown that coffee itself does not cause arterial hypertension, if any one of you is afraid to reach for coffee precisely because of the possible occurrence of hypertension, then here too, cardamom finds its application. This is because experts have shown that this spice has a hypotensive effect, which effectively lowers blood pressure. In one experiment, researchers noted that regular use of green cardamom caused a significant reduction in systolic blood pressure in people with hypertension, up to 19 mm Hg. At the same time, the study participants also experienced a reduction in diastolic blood pressure by 12 units. I will also mention that cardamom emphasizes the health benefits of coffee in the context of our liver. The compounds present in cardamom can reduce inflammation in individuals suffering from non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Furthermore, they cause a beneficial reduction in liver enzymes, specifically alanine aminotransferase, ALT. Additionally, experts have shown that cardamom can decrease fat accumulation in the liver. Another way to prepare a healthy coffee is by adding turmeric, one of the healthiest spices in the world. Turmeric, thanks to its curcumin content, exhibits strong anti-inflammatory activity. This fact can benefit individuals dealing with inflammatory conditions such as degenerative joint disease. Scientific studies demonstrate that consuming curcumin can alleviate joint pain in these individuals. Similar anti-inflammatory effects have been confirmed in individuals with inflammatory bowel disease, particularly those with ulcerative colitis. In this patient population, the consumption of curcumin has been observed to reduce disease activity. Speaking of the health benefits of turmeric, it also exhibits antidepressant activity, just like coffee. Scientists have noticed that using curcumin leads to a reduction in depressive symptoms. Furthermore, products based on turmeric contribute to an improvement in mood. Therefore, coffee and turmeric are an ideal combination to improve our mental health. It's also worth remembering that just like cardamom, curcumin present in turmeric also has a beneficial effect on the liver. It reduces fibrosis in patients with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, decreases liver enzymes, and promotes a reduction in bilirubin levels in the blood, which is an important parameter used to assess proper liver function. To prepare coffee with turmeric, simply heat 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric with 0.5 cups of plant-based milk or regular milk, and then add brewed coffee to these ingredients. I will note that heating turmeric increases the absorbability of curcumin present in it by about 10 times. Additionally, it's worth adding a pinch of pepper to the mixture because piperine, present in it, can increase the bioavailability of the most important component of turmeric even up to several tens of times. Another valuable ingredient that can enrich coffee is cinnamon. However, I would like to emphasize that it should be real, valuable cinnamon, for example Ceylon cinnamon, listed as Cinnamomum zeylanicum. It is especially valuable due to the fact that it helps regulate carbohydrate metabolism. By lowering the glucose level in the blood and reducing insulin resistance, it can reverse the pre-diabetic state to prevent it from turning into type 2 diabetes. Of course, the beneficial effect has also been confirmed in people who already have diabetes. Therefore, if anyone among you has problems with high blood glucose levels, I think it's worth including cinnamon coffee in your menu. For those interested, I will add that using cinnamon can lower sugar levels by up to 9 mg per deciliter. Speaking of the effects of coffee on health, it is commonly believed that coffee, especially the caffeine present in it, causes migraine headaches in sensitive people. However, scientists have not yet established unequivocally whether coffee is really a trigger for migraine headaches. Nevertheless, they recommend caution and propose not to consume more than 200 mg of caffeine per day. In any case, what I would like to add here is that cinnamon has some anti-migraine effects. Specifically, in studies, its authors noted that regular use of cinnamon by people struggling with migraines can reduce the frequency, duration, and intensity of migraine attacks. From here, even if coffee can contribute to the occurrence of migraines to some extent, using it in combination with cinnamon seems to reduce such risk. By the way, I will also say that cinnamon, like turmeric I just discussed, has anti-inflammatory properties, and scientists have confirmed that consuming cinnamon helps reduce inflammation in people with rheumatoid arthritis, and furthermore, alleviate the course of the disease. The way to prepare such coffee is almost identical to that of turmeric coffee, except that here we use 0.5 teaspoon of ground cinnamon per serving of the drink. Another way to enrich coffee is to add cloves to it. This is partly because they have protective properties for the liver and kidneys, the two most important organs responsible for cleansing our body. When it comes to the liver, I can say that cloves reduce liver damage, including mitigating necrotic changes in this organ caused by toxic substances. Moreover, eugenol present in cloves intensifies the detoxifying properties of the liver and supports its work in breaking down compounds foreign to our body. In the case of kidneys, in experiments conducted on rats, scientists have noticed that cloves partially protected the kidneys from pathological changes caused by diabetes. This is important to know because untreated and poorly controlled diabetes causes kidney damage, called diabetic nephropathy. And as I mentioned, cloves help resist this destructive process. In addition to the positive effects on the liver and kidneys, it is also worth mentioning that cloves support stomach health. Thanks to their antioxidant properties, they reduce the infiltration of inflammatory cells and protect the epithelial cells of the stomach from damage caused by alcohol. Moreover, scientists have noticed that using cloves also contributes to reducing the number and surface area of ulcers. This can be considered that this spice has certain anti-ulcer properties. If it comes to anti-inflammatory activity, cloves are no less effective in this regard compared to the previously mentioned spices. I have come across 2 studies that have proven that cloves reduce inflammation and alleviate symptoms accompanying gout, such as joint redness or swelling around the limbs. We prepare coffee with cloves in a similar way to previous coffee variations. For 1 serving of coffee, we use 1 or 2 ground cloves. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, click the button below to get more interesting knowledge about your health. Another health-promoting and tasty solution for taste buds is combining coffee with cocoa. Of course, I mean real cocoa, not, for example, instant cocoa drink, which has little in common with cocoa. This combination is particularly valuable for our brain. As I mentioned at the beginning, coffee prevents the development of neurodegenerative diseases and supports mental performance. We have a similar effect in the case of cocoa. Researchers have confirmed that cocoa increases the plasticity of our brain. In simpler words, cocoa causes new connections to form between nerve cells, which improves their functioning and ultimately translates into more efficient brain functioning, including better memory. In addition, experts have noted that compounds present in cocoa, specifically flavonols, improve blood flow through the gray matter of the brain, which may prevent dementia. so it can be suggested that coffee combined with cocoa has an even better effect on our brain than consumed separately. In addition to its own properties, cocoa added to coffee enhances its beneficial effects on the cardiovascular system. This is because consuming dark chocolate, specifically cocoa, is associated with a 10% lower risk of developing coronary heart disease and a 13% lower risk of heart attack. Moreover, individuals who consume cocoa also have a lower risk of stroke, even up to 16%. Additionally, the ingredients in cocoa restore the balance between high-density lipoprotein, HDL, and low-density lipoprotein, LDL, which may prevent the development of atherosclerotic changes in blood vessels. Furthermore, cocoa consumption lowers both systolic and diastolic blood pressure, with a truly satisfying effect. People who consume cocoa also have a lower incidence of hypertension. Cocoa consumption is also associated with a reduction in blood glucose levels. In individuals who regularly consume cocoa, a decrease in sugar levels of up to 7 mg per deciliter can be expected. Additionally, cocoa, like coffee, prevents the development of type 2 diabetes, with a 25% lower risk. Cocoa contains high levels of magnesium, which is important to note since some people believe that coffee flushes this element from our bodies. While this is not true, as I mentioned in another video about coffee, for those who do not believe this, adding cocoa to coffee will replenish the missing nutrient. Preparing coffee with cocoa is straightforward. Simply add 1 or 2 teaspoons of cocoa to instant coffee, then pour hot water over the mixture and stir well. In the case of coffee from an espresso machine, 1 or 2 teaspoons of cocoa are dissolved in 2 tablespoons of water or favorite milk, and then added to the coffee. I think a pretty unique solution is coffee with peanut butter. Using the correct nomenclature, peanut butter is used instead of the word butter, which is reserved for dairy products. Nuts in many ways exhibit similar effects to cocoa. Therefore, if someone does not like cocoa, it is worth trying the idea of combining coffee with nuts. First of all, it is worth mentioning that the compounds present in nuts increase the elasticity of blood vessels, and consuming these products is associated with a 34% lower risk of developing coronary heart disease and a 10% lower risk of stroke. In addition, people who regularly consume nuts are less likely to die from coronary heart disease and stroke. Moreover, nuts support brain function, including improving memory, concentration, and learning ability. Due to the presence of vitamin E, also known as the vitamin of youth, especially in hazelnuts and almonds, these products slow down the aging of our body. Additionally, they prevent liver steatosis and reduce the risk of developing certain types of cancer, mainly colorectal, pancreatic, breast, and endometrial cancer. To prepare such coffee, combine 0.5 cup of favorite plant-based drink or milk with 2 or 3 tablespoons of peanut butter. Heat the mixture while stirring until smooth. You can also use a blender to make it smoother. In the meantime, prepare the coffee. Then, combine the coffee with the nutty milk mixture. Of course, there is nothing stopping you from adding spices to this set. I think cinnamon will work well here. That's all for me for today. Thank you for your attention. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting information about your health. See you in the next video.